Hello there and welcome back to Level of Life. We're playing Pillars of Eternity. Again, last time the game volume was still probably too low, so I've upped it again. Hopefully you'll be able to hear both me and the game. Otherwise you might have to get in and fill with some settings a bit more intricately. Last time we got to... we witnessed a weird eldritch ceremony of some kind. Started getting these weird visions popping up everywhere, and we've just arrived in Gilded Vale, is it called? The first village. I'm sure someone will say it again in a second, and then I won't have to remember. Hangman's trees seem to be in fashion at the moment. You got them in The Witcher, you got them in Preacher, you got them here.
You must be one of the new settlers. Welcome to Gilded Vale. You'll be pleased to know that we've had some recent vacancies here.
Well, that's a depressingly down the line way to approach that comment. Do you welcome everyone this way?
Of course, we'll need to make some inquiries first. The inestimable Lord Radric VII has taken great pains to insulate our town from Widewind's legacy. Have you ever sired a Hollowborn child?
I don't know what any of this means, so I'm going to go with, what are you talking about?
Born without a soul, of course. Lord Radric has made it his first priority to eliminate this scourge from our village. I should warn you, stranger. Here in Gilded Vale, we have a special place for dissidents, charlatans, and those who would hide a curse in our midst. His lordship's wife is with child and due any day now. Without his approval, I shan't be able to find you a permanent settlement. It will have to wait until after the birth. We can continue our interview then, after the bell tolls from Radric's hold to signal my lord's new heir. In the meantime, you can find temporary accommodations at the inn, just southwest of here.
I only wanted temporary accommodation, and even more so now that I've entered your village and it's just a hangman's tree and you're talking gibberish. Let's find out what this Hollowborn and Widewind's legacy bit and piece is about, because, I have no idea what they're talking about. I forget that you foreigners do not have this curse in your homelands. The Hollowborn have been a scourge upon the Direwood for almost 15 years now. Children born without souls. Pitiful, dumb things that breathe, barely, but do not truly live. Some say the Hollowborn are a disease, some say they're a punishment from the gods. In truth, no one knows, but they began spreading after the Saints' War, so the name Widewind's legacy stuck in honour of that foul, blasphemous pretender. I see. Lord Radric's decrees may seem strict at times, but he has our best interests at heart. I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does. I guess we'll tell him about the ceremony. You'll want to mind where you mentioned that trespassing on Engwithen ruins is illegal, not to mention dangerous. Well, yeah, but it's still pretty scary. Just so they finished, there was a bivouac. I keep reading that bivouac, which is a completely different thing. I've been feeling strange ever since a close call with a bivouac. There's someone in town who can help.
Whatever your problem, it sounds like a matter for an animancer. However, the only animancer in Gilded Vale isn't in any condition to speak. Consider yourself fortunate. After she failed Lord Radric, we saw to it that she wouldn't profit from the misplaced trust of others. A bad cure is often worse than none at all. But if you're set on finding a bottle of troll piss or a dead Audra pebble to rub on your forehead, you're welcome to check her pockets.
You're a dickhead, mate.
A little corpse stink is nothing when you're digging for shit.
I'm going to let you naff off.
Listen!
Someone's had a babby.
2 tolls. Let that be the last.
3. Gods have mercy.
Oh, I guess that means it was Hollowborn.
It seems your arrival is ill-timed. 3 bells toll only for the death of a Radric. I fear Lord Radric's heir is lost, or else Hollowborn, and so lost all the same. You should tread carefully. Circumstances have changed a great deal.
You come to us at a time of mourning. The legacy is struck at the heart of Gilded Vale. Our efforts to redeem ourselves in the eyes of Beroth must be redoubled. Okay. Doesn't seem like we're going to get much of use out of him. So I think I'm just going to crack on my merry way.
Were you looking for someone in that tree? I could introduce you.
Looking for anyone who can help make me feel better, apparently. My condolences. Oh, that was short-lived. Oh. The fact that he was voiced, I thought he was going to get a bit more involved. I'm not going snooping down there yet. I have no solid reason to do that. And because I can't imagine this is rubber banded in the way sort of Skyrim is, you know, if you go somewhere dangerous, it'll be dangerous. Oh, this guy looks helpful, if a bit goth. You see 4 people gathered by the door of the inn. Their raised voices, chopping gestures suggest an argument reaching its climax. The first figure raises his hands for calm. His face is partially obscured by a hood, but his height and stature suggest an elf.
I meant no offence. Let's put this matter to rest over a round, shall we?
Hoping to soothe our pride with a few Adira coppers, eh? We don't need your coin.
Oh, I'm going to get involved. Mocking us even while he has shelters in our village just goes to show what these fancy Adiri manners are worth. We don't take to that kind of treatment, not from foreigners, and especially not from Adirans.
Go on. Say it again. I'm itching for an excuse.
Why, you're itching for the kindling touch of your sister, you cocksfeather!
That is not the voice I expected.
I'll cut that barrel-licking tongue out of your head.
This is a misunderstanding. I didn't say whatever it is you think I said. We've nigh quarrel.
That's where you're wrong.
Oh, constant combat. Oh. Well, that's escalated. That'll teach me to get involved. Well, I guess we're rocking with some classic stag carnage. I'm going to pull back a bit, let the stag take the brunt of it, and then I'm going to start getting some arrows involved. Oh, that did not take long. Oh, stag carnage is... Oh, it's pretty damn cool. Okay.
Not quite how I hoped to get to know the neighbors. Thank you for your timely assistance with that awkward situation. Courtesy is a rare pleasure in these parts, though your accent suggests that you are no more local than I.
Well, I guess that's probably true. I haven't really got a handle on where everyone is. I can't remember where I said I was from, even in the character creation.
Well, I suppose introductions are in order after that little fiasco. Aloth Corvusser, at your service.
What's your
I'm a
deal?
wizard by training, and an adventurer by necessity. I was born in the Seathwood, part of the mainland of the Adir Empire, and both of my parents served the nobility, which afforded me an education for which I am grateful. However, there were no open positions in those houses, and so I decided to seek new means in a new land. And how exactly did you come to be here?
I was travelling with a caravan, but we were separated near some ruins.
In Gwithan ruins? Well, those can be dangerous places during the best of times, which these are not. And half the locals would arrest you for trespassing and the rest would kill you outright. I'm curious, what exactly did you find there? And you survived?
Bivak.
I've heard such a thing was impossible. But it seems you either have a knack for timing or the favor of the gods.
Just how did you manage to cross the 3 drunks?
I'm afraid that was a matter of misunderstandings and mistranslations. It doesn't help that people in these parts remember their war with Adir like it was yesterday.
Well, you did tell that one man to go fuck his sister. Ah, that. As I tried to tell them, they misheard me. Happens all too easily after a few pints, and the accent doesn't help. Oh, I heard the same.
As should I, given recent events. It's just as well. I've had enough of the watered wine and lumpy beds at the inn. They say even the owner tired of the place. Just up and left one day. It explains quite a lot about the upkeep. Perhaps I could join you. I could use a change of scenery, and I find it's better to travel in numbers. Excellent.
I don't see any
shall follow
problem.
you.
He seems alright. I mean, he has just killed 3 men, but, you know, I killed 2 of them. Well, Stag did. May as well take a bit of everything till we find somewhere to sell it. And money's always worth having.
I'm here.
So I presume this is the inn in question. She looks a lot less sinister there in the light.
Greetings.
Welcome to the Blackhound Inn. Sit where you like. Would you like a drink or a room? We have 2 available at the moment. I'm afraid we can't offer much by the way of a good meal today, unless you're fond of cold porridge. I'm not fond of cold porridge. But I think well, let's see if we can get anyone else on side. That's always helpful. Let's see what we've got. Oh, I see. It's really, really, really basic. No. Named companions only, please.
Hello.
Let's get a room then. We'll just use the common room. We don't need to be forking out our gold from our already meagre supply at this stage. Your sleep is restless and fevered, assaulted by hisses and whispers, blanketed with a suffocating anxiety. You open your eyes to awaken and find yourself in front of Gilded Vale's Gallows Tree, the creaking of its ropes growing louder in your mind until the sound is deafening. Hanging from the tree is an old dwarf woman whose face is shriveled inward like mouldering fruit. Her head hangs limply to one side. As you look at her, she looms larger and larger in your mind until she is mere inches from your face. Suddenly, her head snaps up and her eyes open, and they are empty, and behind them is a vast nothingness that makes your stomach drop. Her mouth slowly parts, and with a gust of rancid air she speaks a word. Watcher. You jolt awake, the foul smell of the dwarf woman's breath still permeating your nostrils. Sweat runs down your face in thick droplets and your skin is soaked from head to toe. You remember the woman. You remember seeing her decaying face when you spoke to the magistrate. He called her an animancer. Though it fills you with a new, queasy apprehension, you feel a strange compulsion to see this woman once more, if only to confirm she is truly dead. Well, I'm hoping that will go some way to answering what those visions are. That's got to be what Watcher is about, right? Let's head back to the tree. I'm not getting too much inclination to stray wildly from the story at this stage. You know, I like to get the preliminary part out the way in a fairly straightforward manner. Know what I'm doing. I find I'd actually struggle with RPGs that are too open, or at least too immediately open. Like, I like a bit of direction. The squat, distended body of an elderly dwarf woman dangles from a thin, crooked bough that sags at the tug of her noose. The bloated purple flesh of her neck, worn away in patches like moth-eaten linen, bulges over the rope that suspends her, and her lifeless head lolls forward rigidly from one side to the other when the breeze shifts. You perceive a faint glow around her that casts no light on its surroundings, but there is a tepid warmth to it, and you feel somehow that you could reach out and touch it, not with your hands, but with some aspect of yourself that has no worldly dimension. Well, in for a penny, in for a pound. You take a deep breath, clearing your mind, focusing on your objective. As you exhale, you feel yourself spreading out toward the hanging woman, perceiving all that lies between you and her with a new, unfamiliar awareness. Once you've expanded enough to reach her, there is a sudden jolt to your mind, a ringing electrical surge of images and words and sounds. Involuntarily, you shut your eyes and feel yourself being pulled down to some deeper consciousness in a space occupied only by you and the hanging woman. And when you open them again, she is staring at you with eyes clouded in a milky fog, her body still swaying in a wind you no longer feel from a tree that stands planted in a misty void. The woman gives a slow nod of her head, the rope creaking as she does, and she smiles at you.
Have you come here for me, dear, or have you gotten lost? Ah, it is both, I think. Yes?
How are you able to speak to me?
Perhaps it just seems that way. Perhaps it is the easiest way for your mind to make sense of it. I think it is a very good choice. Did you now, dear?
So I think the bivouac was that storm thing early on.
Something, wouldn't it? Could be luck, could certainly be. A storm can be a careless thing.
It's like I don't know if it's just a storm or if it's a magical thing.
Or maybe it got its hands around your soul but couldn't pick it up. A soul can be heavy if it stayed in one piece through its time. Strong souls, we call them in the trade. Cold, I mean. Called them. Those days are all behind me, no?
I need to understand something that's happened to me.
The world looks a little different than it used to, is that it? Feels like you're noticing things for the first time that have always been there. You have seen past the shroud. It only takes an instant. Your soul remembers, yes? Remembers how it sees when it leaves the body, like being reminded of a dream you had forgotten. You are a watcher now, and a watcher you will stay.
What is a watcher?
What indeed? Long hours have many animancers spent studying such things. Not I. Not I. I'll tell you what I know, though, since fair is fair, and here we are visiting, you and I, and it reminds me of better times. Souls pass on, some say through Audra stones, which are the blood veins of the world. They leave the world for a time and are reborn into it, sometimes more than they were before, but usually less and seldom the same. For all souls there is a time where they do not live, yet have not passed on. And those souls roam the world, same as you or I, either living or lost. But no one sees them because they have forgotten how. A watcher sees, though, knows what to look for. And sometimes they know a person just by looking at them. Know where they've been in ages past when their bodies were other bodies. See memories even their owner can't recall. A wonder to behold when all goes well. A wonder.
Do you mean when all goes well?
Oh, nothing to be afraid of, I'm sure. It's just much to take in for some. Sometimes there's trouble sleeping or other difficulties.
She smiles at you reassuringly, fanning out a tuft of long whiskers that sprouts from one of her cheeks. Delightful.
You should see old Merwald. He could tell you much more than I. A watcher just like you. Helped many in his day. Took up in an old keep no one would claim. Not far, not far. Kadnua, beyond the Black Meadow. He will welcome the company.
Sounds doable.
Goodbye, my dear. It was lovely visiting.
Caldara closes her eyes and her head slumps forward over the noose, and your surroundings seem to bleed into your vision from some unknown place of waiting. De Crib was granted the Crucible of the Soul. Are you alright? You seemed lost just now. This happens a lot, you'll have to get used to it, I reckon. We don't know what he's about. We're going to keep it reasonably shady. Oh, no, that's not going to work. I'm a watcher. Well, that's very, very accepting. Do you know anything about watchers? Only that they're rare and that they seem to have unique insights into certain soul conditions as you just demonstrated. Not fair enough.
17 and a half.
The smell of pipe smoke, at once earthy and sweet, winds its way into your nostrils. Your eyes trace the smoke to its origin, where you find a broad man with straw-coloured hair leaning against a mossy rock wall, his pipe held to his lips with one meaty hand. He looks you directly in the eye, but the look is not aggressive. He regards you with a peculiar smirk.
17 and a half. Well, could be 18, depending on how you count the dwarf woman. The dwarf woman. You were trying to figure out whether to count her as a full person. I think you oughta.
What are you talking about?
The people hanging from the tree. 18 of them. Well, last I counted, anyway.
Is that what you people do for fun around here?
Name's Adair. Though to the people around here, might as well be 19. Don't think I'd put you much higher than 22, 23 tops. You look like the sort that likes to get involved.
Yes, unfortunately I have gotten involved once already, so he's probably right.
I was smoking over here, saw you staring at her. Twice I refilled my pipe. You never so much as blinked. Your mouth was so slack I took you for a Radric at first.
I've been out of sorts lately. Of course, we all got our bad days when we stand perfectly still and stare at corpses for a while without blinking.
Careful, friend. Let's not use that word round here. There'd be any number of Radric bootlickers within earshot. Ciphers, animancers, watchers. Same thing in the eyes of folks around here, Radric especially. They come through these parts all the time with their cures, preying on the desperate. None of them are who they claim to be. Of course, seeing you with that funny look, I'd be halfway inclined to believe you were having some kind of communion with that dwarf. Either case, maybe I'm not 19 after all. No offense.
None taken. Good, they don't mean it personal when they hang folks here. I have to remind myself.
The town's had it in for me for a long time now. Only fellow who ever stuck up for me, well, he's number 18 up there. My headman on the farm. Used to be my captain during the war. Pick
What
the
if the
wrong
town
guy.
happens to you?
That's what it comes down to. Used to be a lot of Vathus worshippers in Gilded Vale. That mess of rocks over there, there was a temple to him, to give you some idea. Then one day, somebody named Widewind shows up on Deerwood's doorstep. Says he's the living flesh of Aethys. Got an army with him. Suddenly, Aethys isn't so popular in these parts. My brother Woden and me, neither of us believed it. No way was that Aethys. He enlisted, and then I did too. But, he didn't make it back. After the war, people took to punishing Aethys worshippers, accusing them of treason. Got real ugly, especially after the legacy started. Folks needed someone to blame. I was safe because I fought, but then this rumor starts that my brother, that he was on the wrong side. And I wasn't so safe anymore. Until my headman stepped in and said they'd have to hang him to get to me. Seems that's no longer a concern. Of course, the townies don't do the hanging these days, but when Raedric's men come, they got no problem doing the pointing.
You can see why I was eager to leave. If you're the next to be hanged, what are you still doing here? Drinking, mostly. Oh, I can get on board with this guy. He can come with. Point of fact, I'm on my way out, just haven't figured where I'm going yet. Not a whole lot of places out there that don't think Widewind's legacy started with Widewind. We could travel together. Where are you headed? Some place called Cadnua. There's an old watcher there who might be able to help me.
Seem to remember hearing something about that years ago. He tamed that place. People would seek him out for all kinds of things. Troubles of the soul, questions for the departed. Of course, that was back when you didn't have to say watcher with a hush on your breath. A man such as that, there'd be things I'd want to ask him. Don't know why I never thought of it before. Not sure how I feel about setting out with a stranger, and a strange one at that. But, truth be told, you might be the only one in town who wouldn't feel some relief seeing me swing from that tree.
Well, there's a fine reason if ever I heard one.
Alright then. Guess I'll do some sightseeing. Long as you're not the one picking the sights.
Okay, you can come with. Pretty happy with that. Got a party again. Oh, we've got some level up to do. Let's do this wizard chap first. Okay, so the skills are always in these same 5 categories. So he's really heavy on lore, so I probably don't need to continue pouring my own stats into that as much. I can use him when I've got lore issues. I might keep pushing his up. Mechanics seem worth having there for him as well. And survival just seems like an all-round good idea. Right. Got some spells to get. I don't know what I've currently got, unfortunately, which is annoying. But combusting wounds, necrotic lance, ray of fire, mirrored image, creates duplicates of the caster to distract enemies. Miasma of dull-mindedness. A cloud of heavy fog settles in the minds of those in the area of the effect, dulling senses and wits. I think I'm quite keen on having mirrored image. Just tend to find playing wizard classes, anything that just stops you getting hit is worth having. What else have we got? This corrosive siphon, so it deals damage and gives you endurance back. That's quite cool. 5 burn damage over time. 56. I think we're going to go with this corrosive siphon. I don't know if that's the right choice, but let's just see what happens. Okay. He's duly leveled up then. And we'll do myself. Old Decrib. So I'm going to up my survival a bit, and I don't know how worth having stealth is unless you're a rogue. I might just push for the extra survival point this time, and because the points carry over to the next level, so it's no great loss. Okay, so we've got some extra extra abilities now. Either low accuracy, high fire rate. I don't think I'm too keen on that as an idea. Okay, inflicts raw damage, which is pretty good. It just means like nothing blocks raw damage. It's it sort of, it doesn't take into account that piercing damage or fire damage, so nothing's going to be resistant to it. It just is going to hurt. Vicious aim. Slower attack but higher accuracy and damage. That doesn't seem like a bad idea overall to me, but Predator's Sense, damage bonus on any creature. So no, okay, so it's a toss up to him for me between Wounding Shot, which you get to do twice per encounter. Oh, hobbles the target and inflicts damage over time. Let's take the hobbling one, because like I don't want things getting near me particularly, and the rest of our party is, well, it's a wizard who you also don't want getting hit. Adair looks like he's probably a melee character, but you know, I wouldn't want to rely entirely on that. I've got the stag, I suppose. Let's go with Wounding Shot for now. Okay, cool. Let's have a look at the map and see where we're meant to be going. So it's quite a way. So we're leaving to the south by the looks of things, and I reckon we'll crack on and do that. No strong reason I can see to just wait around here. We're all in good health. Yeah, Ed is melee character by the looks of things. That's good, because we are short on that front. There we go. Okay, so yeah, we're back in the wilderness now, so we'll accept that there. Travel for 4 hours, and then I think we'll leave that there for today, and next video we'll try and make our way towards Cadnua and see who this Merewald character is and what he's got to say. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.